Here we have, in a nutshell, the rudimentary form of the plan that would become the hallmark of Johnny Appleseed's entrepreneurial career. He would first select a spot where he anticipated a need for apple trees. Then, after harvesting seeds from the leftover pulp at cider mills, he would return to plant and cultivate his nursery, eventually selling seedlings and saplings to settlers who would be moving into the area. Johnny's idea was not new. Many others were in the business of gathering seeds at the cider presses in larger cities and starting nurseries in the area. What was new, however, was that Johnny conceived the idea of a movable enterprise. In other words, as the frontier continued to move west, so would Johnny, always anticipating where the early pioneers might choose to settle. There he would plant his apple nursery, hire someone to tend it, and move on, further into the frontier to plant more nurseries. Occasionally, he would return to check his fences, cultivate his plantings, and meet with his workers. But he was always looking ahead, planning ahead, moving ahead to the next location. By the time the settlers arrived, Johnny's seedlings and saplings would be well developed and ready for sale. Selling apple seedlings to the settlers proved to be a perfect business for Johnny, not just because 50 fruit trees were required for proof of land ownership, but also because the apple trees were essential for survival on the frontier. They grew well and had a variety of uses. They could be eaten directly from the tree. They could be used to make pies, dumplings, fritters, and pancakes. They could be baked, boiled, fried, turned into chips and chutney, churned into butter, or made into sauce. Apple cider vinegar was especially important as a preservative for other foods and as an antiseptic. The apples themselves were extremely hardy. They could be easily stored in a root cellar and used throughout the long winter. And of course, there was always apple juice, apple cider, apple jack, and apple brandy, all of which were considered staples on the American frontier. The demand for apples was high and the need was great, but not everyone had the seeds, the know-how, or the time to plant 50 trees. Enter Johnny Appleseed.